Valentin Bondarenko, 24, the youngest Soviet cosmonaut, is sealed in an isolation chamber on day 10 of a 15-day test. The air around him is half pure oxygen. He wipes his skin with an alcohol-soaked cotton ball and tosses it without looking. It lands on a hot plate. The flash is instant. His wool suit becomes a torch, and the pressurized door holds rescue out while he burns. Pulled out conscious, he repeats that no one else is to blame. He dies of burn shock within hours, 19 days before Yuri Gagarin reaches orbit. Moscow buries the story for 25 years. Marshal Nedelin commands the entire Soviet strategic rocket forces, and on October 24, 1960, he is sitting in a chair a few meters from a fully fueled R-16 missile at Baikonur. The rocket is leaking corrosive propellant. Draining it would cost days Moscow will not give him, so his engineers work on it live, with roughly 250 people on the pad. Then, a faulty electrical sequencer ignites the second stage engine directly above the full first stage. The fireball swallows the pad in seconds. Men running for their lives are trapped against the barbed wire perimeter fence and burned there. Nedelin dies in his chair. His remains are identified by his Gold Star medal. Boris Konoplev, chief designer of the missile's guidance system, dies near the rocket. His deputy designers Lev Berlin and Vasily Kontsevoy die with him. Colonel Alexander Nosov, running the launch, dies on the pad. Mikhail Yangel, the missile's chief designer, survives only because he stepped behind the bunker to smoke a cigarette. The official 1994 count is 78 dead, 74 on site and 4 in hospitals. Roscosmos later said it may have been as high as 126. The true number is disputed to this day because Moscow announced that Nedelin died in a plane crash and told the widows to say the same. Colonel Pyotr Dolgov has 1,408 parachute jumps behind him. On November 1st, 1962, jump number 1,409 is from a balloon gondola 28,600 meters up, testing the pressure suit built for Vostok cosmonauts. As he steps out, his helmet visor clips the edge of the gondola. The crack is the size of a pinhead. In the near vacuum of the stratosphere, that is enough. His suit bleeds out its air as he falls. The parachute opens automatically, exactly as designed, and lowers a dead man gently onto the step. Western rumor later turned him into a cosmonaut lost in orbit. The truth needed no exaggeration. Vladimir Komarov, 40 years old, launches alone on April 23, 1967, in Soyuz 1, the first flight of a brand new spacecraft. Trouble starts on the first orbit. A solar panel refuses to unfold and starves the ship of power. The orientation sensors fail. Moscow aborts the mission. Komarov manually steers the crippled ship through reentry and survives the hard part. Then, the drogue chute deploys, and the main parachute stays jammed in its container, squeezed shut by cabin pressure. The reserve chute spills out and tangles in the drogue, still flapping above the capsule. It never fills. Soyuz 1 hits a field near Orenburg at well over 100 kilometers per hour and burns. Komarov is the first human being ever to die on a spaceflight. His backup, the man who begged to fly in his place, is Yuri Gagarin. Yuri Gagarin never got back to space, but he died still trying to. He belongs on this list for one reason. On March 27, 1968, the first man in orbit is still a serving cosmonaut on flight status, training toward a second spaceflight. That morning, he takes a routine training flight in a MiG-15 with instructor Vladimir Seryogin. The jet comes out of low cloud in a spin and hits the forest. Both men die instantly. What put it into that spin is disputed to this day. The State Commission said they swerved around something, a weather balloon, or birds. Declassified KGB files blame controllers who reported the cloud base 1,000 meters too high. And cosmonaut Alexei Leonov went to his grave insisting an unauthorized Su-15 fighter thundered past within meters and flipped them over. No version has ever been proven. Georgy Dobrovolsky, 43, is commanding Soyuz 11 home on June 30, 1971, after 23 days aboard the world's first space station, a new endurance record. The The three men wear no pressure suits. The capsule is too cramped for them. 12 minutes after retrofire, at 168 kilometers up, the explosive bolts separating the modules all fire at once, instead of in sequence. The jolt knocks open a small ventilation valve that was built to open near the ground, and the cabin's air starts screaming out into space. The crew switch off the radio, just to hunt the hiss by ear. The valve is buried under the seats. Dobrovolsky has less than a minute of useful consciousness, and he spends all of it fighting. Vladislav Volkov, 35, is the flight engineer, and the only man aboard who has flown before. When the leak starts, the biomedical sensors record his pulse leaping to 180. There is nothing on his side of the cabin to close. About 2 minutes after the bolts fire, the recorders show all 3 hearts have stopped. The capsule never notices. On autopilot, it flies the rest of the descent perfectly, with no one left alive inside it. Viktor Patsayev had turned 38 in orbit 11 days earlier, the first person ever to have a birthday in space. His body is found closest to the valve, apparently trying to reach it in the seconds before he blacked out. The capsule lands on target in Kazakhstan, intact and silent, and the recovery crew opens the hatch on 3 men still strapped in their seats. Dobrovolsky, Volkov, and Patsayev remain, to this day, the only human beings who have died in space itself. March 18, 1980. Plesetsk Cosmodrome. A Vostok rocket is being fueled for a satellite launch 2 hours from liftoff when it explodes on the pad. 44 men die in the fire. 4 more die in hospitals. 48 dead. And the State Commission blames the ground crew, men who are dead and cannot answer. 15 years later, investigators land on the likelier cause. Filters in the hydrogen peroxide system soldered with lead, a metal that detonates peroxide on contact. In 1996, the crew is formally cleared. They had carried the blame for their own deaths for 16 years. Chamber, pad, sky, vacuum. Almost none of these men died in space, but everyone died in secret, behind cover stories and sealed files. Moscow hid its dead. It could not hide its rulers. How every Soviet leader died. Next,